Hello, my name is Shyowager. Welcome to Vodfathers. I'm hyped to be here. TMV, Sideshow, Shyowager, Vodfathers. Let's take it away.
Okay, let's take it away. Let's calm it right back down. That's the energy for the show. Now we're gonna be down here. This is gonna be a lackluster episode that we've got coming for you. Jesus Christ! But we're gonna start off with an offer you can't refuse. This is a TMV style game. Welcome to an offer you can't refuse. I'm gonna offer Sideshow and Shyo an either or. I'm going to present them two different options, and they have to give an answer as to what they would pick, and then persuade me as to why they think that is the correct answer. Now, they might agree, they might disagree. We shall see. Let's kick it off with the whole thing that got me thinking about this in the first place, which is about C9. Sideshow, I'm going to come to you first. Is it more likely that C9 and FURIA make an international? Those are the two teams that have never made an international. Or is it more likely that one of the Japanese teams will make an international in the year 2026?
Does C9 and FURIA both have to make it, or is it just one or the other?
Does one of C9 or FURIA make it, or either of the Japanese teams make it to just any international?
I think it's got to be C9 or FURIA, I think. Because we're talking a lot this offseason about how stacked Americas is. So you might think, oh, well, C9 and FURIA are going to have a really difficult chance at making it through Americas. But Pacific is already really stacked. Americas has become much more stacked and maybe much more top-heavy as well. But Pacific has been the middle of the pack in particular, extremely competitive if you want to try to rise towards the top. So I think the Japanese teams are going to find it just as difficult as somebody would in a similar scenario in Americas. But they're also, I think, working with the baggage of just having never been able to put together a winning squad over a period of time. Could they do it? Yeah, I think I'd mostly be looking towards DFM. I still don't know at this point if they really do have Foxy9 on the team. If they have Foxy9 and Meiy, then that's the team I'd be looking at. But at the same time, how could you have them above? Well, I suppose it is a very different Cloud9 team as well, isn't it? I was going to say, how could you have them above Cloud9 when they were one step away from making it to champs last year anyway? But I don't know that that's going to be as successful for them. I think I'd still pick the Americas teams, though.
Shyo?
I have to thumbs up this, right? Thumbs up the opinion. I thumbs up that. I endorse the opinion. I feel like for the Japanese teams, they're in a position where they got to get one, maybe two teams to play consistently that are ahead of them, and they still have a gauntlet to run through to make it in. Josh is right. The fact that C9 were one step away already. FURIA sometimes seems like they're one step away mid-season with how volatile Americas can be. I think it's just easier for Americas in that sense, where a lot of the top teams like San G2 have become from the S tier to kind of the A, B tier in terms of expectations, like what's going on here. Everyone's kind of middle of the pack. And if that's the case, I think it's a lot easier for C9 to make it, first of all, and I think they've had a lot of practice in not making it now. I think they have one thing to fix, which is their playoffs. And then a team like FURIA to stardom, get their honeymoon period, shine and pop off. Whereas some of these Japanese teams, same old flavors. Pacific hasn't really switched up. If anything, the better teams have gotten better and more consistent now. With some of the roster changes, they're kind of stuck in the mud. I think Americas makes it first. Maybe Japan makes it more times in terms of comparatively to C9 and FURIA. Who knows? But I think C9 and FURIA will make it first overall.
Okay. So what are we saying? Are DFM more likely than FURIA? Would you agree with that?
I would put it on FURIA, man.
You would put FURIA above DFM.
Like that. Yeah, FURIA is like that kid in the BR that has bad weapons. So he's waiting for everybody else to fight first, then he third parties. There's going to be some shit going on between Sen and G2, C9's going to be fighting 100 Thieves. Everyone's going to be tired from their BO3, and then FURIA's going to beat Loud or something, come in looking good and just win off the third party. I know that's not how this game works at all, but bear with me for a second. Just understand the timeline. Yeah.
I understand.
Would you agree? Would you put FURIA Sideshow over DFM?
Depends whether they have Foxy9, I think.
Okay. Next one. I'm going to come to you, Shyo, first. G2 does a 6-peat and wins all 3 America's trophies again.
Yeah.
Or Fnatic win all 3 of EMEA and they win an international.
Oh, Jesus. I don't think that's dude. I would. Oh my god, Fnatic have to win an international and every regional.
Win every EMEA trophy, yeah.
Or G2.
Or G2 just win 3 Americas again in a row, and win 6 in a row.
I think it's more likely. This seems crazy. This seems like it doesn't make mathematical sense, but I feel like it's more likely that Fnatic win every fucking regional and an international than G2 winning everything in Americas. I know that sounds fucking weird.
It does sound weird.
I feel, yeah. My headspace on it is that Americas is just crazy right now. You're telling me like that Envy team doesn't have a little bit of a shake-up potential to just like knock 1 or 2 people off in a different sort of a bracket in a matchup they're not supposed to win? Like, I think winning in that region consistently is going to be a challenge. Whereas in EMEA, we have the same setup of Vitality's a god team this time. A bunch of teams have made some adjustments. If mates could like be consistent, there's a question mark there. If you're looking at some of these rosters like KC, like Na'Vi, like they have a chance to be consistent. It was kind of the same situation last year. Fnatic have made one change. I understand it might be a downgrade in a lot of people's eyes, but they were already, pumping at 150%. They got nerfed to like 125% of a team. Oh, so scary. They may have a chance of getting second, guys. Oh, my shiver me timbers. It's nuts. But I'd honestly take that and like an international, because they were averaging second place. I'll take them winning every stage and an international then because also caveat to you, by the way, TMV. You only got to win twice. There's no chance of a three-peat from what I saw. You can correct me if I'm wrong. There's no winner of kickoff, right?
You just have to be the first team.
Well, winner of kickoff to me, I'm calling the team that goes through the uppers, which I think does count as a winner because I think in the 12-team, they're having a 12-team Masters. I'm going to assume that
you get the better seed.
Yeah, I'm going to assume they send the best seed to playoffs, which I would count as winning. Okay. But yeah, there is no like grand final, right? Sideshow, do you agree?
He's convincing me. I think you've got to put some respect on the consistency of Fnatic, how they always seem with whatever team they have to be able to make it into really deep positions. It's just that you've set the bar higher for them than you have for G2.
Well, yeah.
So you've created a sneaky one. I think probably the odds on would be to go for G2 and just hope that like MIBR pancakes and NRG underperforms a little bit as well. So I guess I'll go for G2, but I don't feel great about it, and I do think that Shyo's got some good points there. You've been.
I would actually say that I think Fnatic is more likely because if they do win all 3 regionals, that means that they're good, and it probably means they're good enough to win an international. They'll also be starting deeper in 2 of them anyway if they do that.
Sure.
So. There is a world. I would pick Fnatic, I think, for that one. Okay, next one. I'm coming back to you, Mr. Sideshow. China is not the worst region in terms of finishes at an international, or EMEA is clearly the best. So this is the thing where you
over the
do
whole
like
year.
This is where you do your little rankings of the finishes for the different regions and stuff.
Yeah.
EMEA is clearly number 1, or China is not number 4.
Let's have a think about it. China has essentially been number 4 at almost every tournament, but there are definitely tournaments where they haven't placed at the bottom. This year coming up, see, the worst tournament they ever had was at Shanghai, basically. And Shanghai is where Champs is at. I'm not saying there's some like
surely their worst tournament now is Last Champs, right?
It was the same. It was the same performance as Shanghai. Yeah, so it's
yeah, but there's 4
equal.
teams there. I think that is worse.
True. But either way, like possibly coming up in China, dude, they can't have that bad of a performance again on home ground territory. I think the chances of EMEA being clearly the best with such a stacked Americas and Pacific looking like they have a better read on the meta at the moment too over the last year. I'm going to go for China. I'm going to have some belief in China. I think most people are going to be down on China based on their most recent Champs performance. But what you got to remember with that region is they ping pong. They have like it's about you flip a coin as to whether China makes a podium finish or whether they bomb out entirely. It's just you flip a coin.
Okay. I'm not flipping coins. They Gonna disagree with you on this one. I'm not flipping coins. I'm gonna flip the coin that has heads on both sides, which is Fnatic coming second or inside the top 3, which I think is fucking the best. That's a guarantee for the region. Carried by Fnatic, by the way. One team region, by the way. Well, that one team is keeping them in that first seed, in my opinion. The fact that you have to bring up 2 regions, Josh, Pacific and Americas, to combat EMEA being the first seed clearly means that it's a 1v2, clearly means that they're the best. You got to get the entire world stacked against these guys, and the only reason China's
that's how a tournament works, bro. Fourth. That's how all of the tournaments work. Is that you have to play against the other regions.
G2 against Fnatic. That was unfair, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. I will stand on the fact that it's more likely that EMEA, I mean, cloudy with a chance of hardcore precipitation. Like it's not clear. You know what I'm saying? That they're number 1 comparatively to China being number 4. I feel like no matter which side you support, you're almost kind of also supporting the other side. I don't know what it is, but yeah, China so far, I love the region. I have some depth of knowledge on the region a little bit from watching it in 25 and going back in 24 a bit, but their peaks, even though when they do ping pong, they're not doing the mega bouncy serves. They're not doing like big, 3-hit returns that guarantee you the point. I know some ping pong knowledge right here. Okay, I've dabbled in some college ping pong. They're getting there, though. They're getting there. The rest of the world is knowing how to serve, how to do their 3-hit attack, going way back and playing the hard game. I never know why those guys don't like just soft serve at one time, though. It's wild. Have you guys seen Shaolin ping pong, by the way, with the soccer balls or whatever?
No.
It's crazy. They play like they can only kick the ball.
Yeah, where you can kick the ball.
Like handstand rematch, like right bumper shots onto the others. It's crazy, bro. Some of these sports that exist when people get bored. When you don't have Valorant in your region, it's like, what do you do? Let's play ping pong with our fucking shoes, bro.
Okay, I think I'm gonna give it to the EMEA. You made your point.
Yeah.
Well, as the decider vote, I would say it's more like, I think I'm going with Sideshow. Sorry, Shyo. I think it's more likely China isn't the worst. But maybe that's just, it's a close one. The whole point is a close one. Shyo, I'm coming to you. Next question.
All right.
MIBR is a catastrophic failure, or Vitality are a catastrophic failure?
Oh, I like that.
Oh, that's an easy one in my opinion. I feel like it's Vitality. Okay. I feel like there's one string, okay? There's one string on MIBR, which is Tex. And if you pull it, I'm just wondering how much you can pull it to where it doesn't work. I feel like the rest of the team around Ospos is going to be chilling, right? It's Ospos, come on. Zekken's up in the business. I think we have a good system there with players who've played together enough and there's respect enough. Maybe this entire season relies on like the Sentinel player. Maybe Vito is a fucking must-pick agent. And when teams start to use it, if you don't have a Vito player, it's tough. There's a problem. Whereas for Vitality, we're in a situation again where it's the Big Ben. Are you guys familiar with such a landmark? The Big Ben? They're a clock. Right? They're a clock. They got many gears. And if one gear fucks up, the entire thing goes dong 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 dong. Their final death bell is playing. Yompi's got to control a chessboard that has like 17 bishops, 24 knights, right? Like it's complicated. There's a lot of moving pieces.
That sounds like he's got a lot of pieces at his disposal, though. I mean, he can easily sack a couple bishops and he's fine.
MIBR's 5 queens that have invulnerability for 3 moves. It's wild. It's so it's like they might have one. They might have like one rook, right? Like that's the thing. So the question is like, is it the weakest link?
He knows everything. He knows every game.
This guy's a sport master.
I know a lot of games.
Have you ever seen the game? Have you ever seen the chess where they play it with their feet, where they kick the pieces? Shaolin chess.
I've seen chess with shotguns and 5D chess as well. It's fucking crazy.
Chess with shotguns.
Yeah, so like it's basically like it's a roguelike, but like you're basically a chess piece and you can shoot other pieces around you, which is crazy. And then there's fighting game chess showdown, which is like when you actually take a piece, it transforms to a fighting game. Every piece has its own move set, and you have to win that fighting game match, and it knocks the other piece out, but every piece retains its health. And like the queen has a busted move set, so it's easier to win with her. But if you're a good enough fighting game, like I'm actually gonna dive into this tangent for a second, just a quick second, really quick. If you're a good enough fighting game player, you can play with the pawn shit move set and kill a queen. But if you have bad chess mechanics, like you have to just win every fighting game. Whereas if you have good chess mechanics, it's like, do you have good enough fighting game mechanics to keep up with it?
That's pretty cool. Honestly, that's pretty cool. That is pretty good.
It's really sick. Going back into it, to recap, MIBR, weak link versus Vitality. Ferrari machine, did we build the engine right? I feel like the engine is more of has a chance to catastrophically fail. I think MIBR might slightly fail, but it won't be catastrophic.
I have the opposite opinion. I think that while Vitality are less likely to blow up. They're just more likely to be mediocre and therefore be a failure in the community's eyes. Whereas I think MIBR are more likely to... Dude, if you got... I don't know much about the internals of either of these teams, right? But I'm going to wildly speculate as if I do. And I want to put this caveat right here so that people know it's not based on fact or reality. But when you've got Aspas's mum calling Tex a traffic cone while they were playing on Leviathan and winning, by the way, that team was still good. They made top 3 at champs and they still had internal strife. That doesn't bode well. When you have the Leviathan looking like they're going to win the entire tournament at champs and then a phenomenal crash out right at the end, of which many rumors circulate about what was going on at champs and the internal problems that team was having, that doesn't bode particularly well to me. When you have the terrible performance that this year's MIBR had at Toronto, inexplicably, I would say, as well. I still don't really know why that occurred. And then the rumors of tumultuous backs and forths between the people inside the team for a couple of weeks afterwards as well. I think that if there was a team that was going to explode, it would be that one if they start to fail. Not because of... I think Zekken would be like a rock in a stormy sea in that kind of scenario. He'd just be there like, bro, I'm just trying to play the game while shit is going wrong all around him. On the other side, for Vitality, I think they've got more like gruff personalities on Vitality. But I don't think they're going to butt heads because I think that they've had working relationships before in the past, a lot of them. I think they probably know how to communicate with each other, even if it is quite gruffly. And so I could see them becoming mediocre, but I don't really see them like completely exploding that system up. They've got all of the pre-working systems of PAL working with Yampi, working with Profek. They've got Durka reuniting with Chronicle. They spent a huge amount of time together. It's just got more pieces that should guarantee a floor than MIBR, in my opinion.
Okay, Timmy, chance to respond real quick?
Yeah.
You mentioned, Josh, many masters, champs. Let me just look at Vitality's run real quick and some of those players and the masters and multiple champs multiple masters they made last year, of course, and the champs run they had. They did exactly what you said that MIBR did in Bangkok, maybe even worse to T1 and G2, and then didn't make a masters, flopped in the tournament that shall not be named, Dub C.
True.
And then didn't make another masters or champs again.
And who was on that Vitality team? Which
Durka
of these
was still on it? Durka was still
one
there.
player. Where
was Yampi? Where was Yampi the whole
one
year?
player was on that
Yampi
Vitality team.
Where was Yampi?
But this is my point.
Chronicle carried by Fnatic?
The question was not which team is going to be better. The question was which team is going to explode. And this
like Vitality didn't even get a chance to run the engine. And it seems like
if you define not making an international and just being a mediocre team in EMEA as catastrophically failing, then I could see that point. But I think in terms of catastrophic failure, team falls to pieces like last year's Vitality, I think you're more likely to get that from MIBR this year. I think this version of Vitality, though, could actually be like a 4th place team in EMEA at their lowest, and that would be considered a huge failure for a lot of people. But I'm thinking about like teams imploding. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I actually like the way that discussion went at the end in terms of, I agree that it kind of depends on what you consider a catastrophic failure. I agree with both of you. I think Vitality are more like there is a definite world where Vitality are just like okay, and that's seen as like a massive failure. But I think implosion wise, I would say that's more MIBR. Just because I feel like America's is more implosion based.
It's drama.
To be fair, even when EMEA teams do kind of implode, it quickly dies down. I feel like Vitality did implode last year, and it's over within a week in EMEA. Whereas in Americas, they love the drama. Someone's going to send out a tweet. The people, they'll get on Twitter.
I'm waiting for the Jonah P tweet. I'm still waiting for Jonah P's tell all.
Still waiting. Well, actually, let's go right there. Shyo, I think it's you next, right?
Of course.
Baby Bay is statistically G2's best player, or Vekaj is clearly an upgrade over Chronicle.
Oh, I think it's more likely that. Oh,
So BabyBay doesn't have to be G2's best player, just statistically. Like, his VLR rating is the highest on G2. But it doesn't have to, like, you can still watch it and be like, actually, Leaf was their best player. But you get what I mean. But Vekaj needs to clearly be an upgrade.
I'm looking at like the meta and the landscape of the teams of Americas, and I can't see BabyBay. Like, I can see him consistently being like second or third. Is that enough? Like, with 1 week Jog is good, the next week like Trent is popping off, next week it's like, you know, Leaf, but BabyBay. If
you think that could happen and he finisches number one, then yeah. But they take turns, and he just is like the second.
And he's always second, always. Like playing. Yeah, like that could actually be likely. Vekaj being an upgrade over Chronicle is a big ask, because like what Chronicle was doing with his Asian pool as well, it's hard to stand out and be like a wall. You know, there's many players like on Duelist who on any agent can be the one to be like, yeah, let's rotate a site. Where like against Chronicle, like you're playing Viper, you're playing some of these agents where it's like you just have to do your job and not even be an impact fragger. It's fine. He was doing it all. Vekaj, like we saw in the London in-zone clash, sure, he can play a bunch of roles. We've seen inside this season that, like, I keep saying season because I'm on Fortnite build. We've seen inside this year or this upcoming meta. There we go. Let me tap back in real quick. That it's a bit more about like having a defined role as a team and rocking with it. And I think not switching up too much in terms of like, oh, we don't know how to double duelist and it's clearly meta. Let's learn it in a week. Whatever these guys are prepping right now needs to matter. And if we're starting to like in some of these offseason tournaments experiment with Vekaj and stuff, could it be? I'm gonna go with BabyBay is more likely to be number one based off the fact that he can consistently be number 2 or 3. I still think G2 it'll be Jog mostly and some other players popping off week to week. But if he just stays second, third shooting at like on average, we're big chilling. Really, you're putting Vekaj over Kron?
No, I'm not putting Vekaj over Kron. Sorry. No, so sorry, but let me explain.
You had 1 or 2 jobs.
I'm agreeing with your take, but I'm disagreeing with the manner in which it's happening, right? So I agree with the take that BabyBay is going to be, but I think it's not even a question, TMV. It's you've given us a shit one here, because BabyBay has a strong chance of being the statistically best player on the team, I think.
You think?
If you look at what he's been doing on the Viper, if you look at what he's been doing on the Chamber recently, he seems to be actually really thriving within this system of being like a cleanup guy who's also going to be in the right place at the right time to hold certain angles and be a crucial part of the team. I could see his stats being really strong towards the end of the season. I think that's a very valid outcome. He's not somebody like Jorg that has to go in and make a shit ton of space for the team with the way that they currently play. It's not like you've got Trent on Tejo that's going to be, you know, rocketing up the scoreboard as well. Leaf is the other player that might be up there with his like insane stats performance, and they've just nerfed the bastard by putting him onto Breach. He's not going to be getting the best stats in the entire team with him on Breach. So I actually think that BabyBay is in a really strong position within the team system to hoover up a bunch of stats performances on G2. And there's no fucking way that Vekaj is an upgrade over Chronicle. There's no way. They're not even trying to have that be the case. They're not even trying to. He's not supposed to be filling in for Kron. Like, Alpha is the guy who's been asked to step up more and do more as Kron's replacement. Dude, Vekaj just looks like he's going to be in Senti jail, holding down the site on the other side of the map. I don't even see a world where he gets to do enough to look like an upgrade over Kron.
Hold that thought. Hold on one moment, okay? Because you two agree, and you think that this one, I'm gonna push back here quite hard.
Okay.
Last year, if I offered you Kayak being better than Durka, you would have said the exact same thing. You would have said, "There's no fucking way."
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. If I would have said he was definitely better than Durka, people would have said that.
But the argument would have been different. I'll explain to you that argument.
But you would have said there's no way. Here's the thing that you're not understanding as well.
Okay.
Go back and take a look at Kron's year last year. It wasn't amazing. Again, I made this point in a recent video. I think last year's Kron, outside of when the whole like mech thing was happening, you know, Gambit fell apart, outside of that brief moment, I think that was Kron's worst performance in a VCT year last year.
Worst performance of the GOAT is still better than most players.
But that's the thing though. Kron was good last year. He wasn't great. He wasn't elite. He was good. He was a good player for most last year, and he had a very good Masters Toronto. Vekaj could be that. And you're saying he's not replacing him. Go to their most recent game against Full Sense. What is Vekash doing? Oh, he's only top fragging, playing Breach and Viper.
When they're playing
he's only got the highest rating on the team, playing Breach and Viper, the Chronicle
playing against
role.
a tier 2 squad without Boaster in the team. I'm not paying attention to what they're doing in the Soup Valorant League. Fnatic are playing it like a pug, I reckon. I mean, what, dude?
And there he is, being their best performer. I'm not saying he has to statistically be good. I'm just saying he has to... Look, if they win an international, those calls... If they win an international and he's good, people might say, oh...
I think Vekash could be really good. I think he is a very good player, in fact. But I don't think they're going to use him in the same way, generally speaking, that they were using Chronicle. I mean, they are in this tournament, but I suspect that's because they're kind of changing things up a little based on... what they're... I mean, I'm looking at their comps now, actually, though, and they are playing comps that we would expect them to play in the future, so maybe they are just directly swapping it. But the comps that they were running during the Red Bull home ground did not feel like that too much at all. Yeah, I mean, they were still running him on Breach, on Abyss, and that kind of thing, but they just weren't running him on the same level of Viper. Could they? Possibly. I think a more like-to-like comparison with last year's, though, would be something like... something like Larocque, maybe. Like if Larocque had come in and been trying to replace Chronicle.
Yeah, I agree.
I think I might still have had the take, like, no, I don't think he's clearly going to be better because the chances of that are really low. Like, he's a great upcoming rookie, but it'll probably still take him some time. I think that's more of the argument for Kayak over Durka last year, is just like, you have a proven guy who's so good, the chances of a rookie coming in and being better than him day one or even year one are just low. My argument with Vekash is that I don't even think they're going to try to use him in the same way. I think they're going to lean into much more double duelist with Alpha. I think they're going to lean into much more like Alpha flexing onto roles where he can get aggro. Maybe they will still end up putting him on a bunch of the like Viper, but if they need somebody to hard Senti, I think it'll end up being Vekash playing like Cypher roles and that kind of stuff. We'll see.
There's also the one thing we're not considering, which is like, Baby Bay only needs to put up like one stage of stats. There's going to be that G2 roster change where they re-sign Jonah P for stage 2, and then also like minus Leaf plus Demon 1 or something that doesn't, which won't make sense. Yeah. So like Baby Bay just has to, you know, if he primes up high, we're looking good. If he has 5 good games or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's an interesting way of doing it. G2 are shit without Jonah P, and Baby Bay just happens to like be the only one to put like a 1.0 rating, and everyone else is dog shit. Yeah, that's definitely on the card. You're right. Okay, Sideshow, back to you. Angel becomes a coaching legend instantly and takes Na'Vi back towards the top of EMEA, making internationals, or Frost takes global to their first international.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Wait, what was the first? What does Angel have to do again?
Angel has to be a good coach, clearly has a big influence on the team, is a good coach, and takes Na'Vi towards the top of EMEA, and they make at least one international.
Right.
Or Frost takes global to an international.
Well, I think the Na'Vi one is more likely because Na'Vi were actually kind of close to that towards the end of last season anyway, and I do think he's going to be a good coach. My concerns with Na'Vi are actually not to do with Angel coaching at all. I think he's always going to be an incredible coach in terms of the value that he can add. It's to do with the fact that he's had to give up the IGL slot and Shao is now taking it up, and I think that'll take some work. Like, you can have the best coach in the world, but if your IGL is less experienced or something like that, that's still going to take a while. The reason why I'm grumbling about it, though, because otherwise it'd just be like a slam dunk Na'Vi, is I kind of believe in Frost doing something with global too. I don't think what I believe in global is like a top 4 finish at the end of the year or them making an international tournament. I still think Pacific's a bit too stacked for that, but I do think global, with the team that they have right now, and considering that Frost does have some good history of getting results out of his players, I could see them having their best year maybe even, but it's a low bar, and maybe breaking into more of the middle of the pack. But I'm still going to go for the Na'Vi Angel take because I don't think he's going to be able to get them to an international.
Okay. Shio? Agree?
Thumbs up. Listen, in a fight between the Morning Dew on a chilly afternoon, the Morning Dew on a chilly winter morning that frosts up the grass blades versus the divine entity that can uplift me to the heavens, I'm choosing religion every day. You feel me? I'm a man of God.
Give me the angel. Literal names.
Yes.
Oh, dude, I didn't even understand that.
give me Angel, because honestly, I'm part of the Filu fan club. I've had like the year pass like slotted in every month. I've been there when Filu's playing, and the fact that Filu's on Na'Vi gives me big hope. Sociable's here too. I feel like I mentioned this before the show started, but like there's a kid who was like looking at Normandy Beach being like EMEA 2025, the aftermath, right? Like all the remnants of teams, the limbs tossed over on the, he's a little child has come up and they're like seashells to him, right? Let's think of Pyro and the way he looks at the entire system in his lens. TF2 reference, if anyone understands. It's all beautiful. To him, it's shells. Oh, look, a piece of Filu, a sociable, some koi, some BBL. Let's see what's looking good. Let's toss it all over into Na'Vi. But we'll have Angel pretending like he's still IGLing, right? Put him into a separate instance of Valorant. Have like bots that have the same names as his old teammates. Whatever calls he's making, relate to the team pre-round, relate to the team in timeout. It makes sense. We just don't get the Angel troll pick. Everybody's locked in. Shao knows what Angel would do anyways, right? We've had the experience of being with him. We just don't have the troll picks anymore. We just don't have any of the inconsistencies. I feel like this team goes far. Like, we have some good insurance in the back end with Sociable if a round goes wrong off a call. And we have good firepower in the tip of the spear being made out of fucking runite because Filu is a god. All right, let me just put that in. Filu is coming, people. He was held back by a fish in a pond. And now he's, what is it now?
I'm going to tell you right now, Filu is going to not cost very much on VFL.
Good. And I'm going to get so many points.
You can have him.
Points
you can have him.
Again.
I'm going to tell you, you can
supremacy. Have him. I'm picking up 7 Vitality players, by the way. Anyways.
Okay.
Yeah, give me Na'Vi.
Okay. Shyo, over to you. A team gets kicked midway through the season out of VCT.
Yeah.
Or a tier 2 team makes it to champs.
Ooh. Okay, for the tier 2 team making it a champs, this is one tier 2 team gets the opportunity in every single region, right? That's the thing?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to say the tier 2 team makes it over to champs comparatively to someone getting kicked mid-season. Mid-season, there's no way. Mid-season also counts as the break between stage 1 and stage 2, right?
Yeah, at any point. So from when kickoff starts to when champs ends, someone gets kicked out.
Nah, like we already kicked out Koi because of the streamer thing. Boom's already back in, so there's no reason to kick out another team for Boom. And Mate's already back in, so no reason to kick out a team for Mates. TSM, I was talking to them. They don't feel like they're wanting to play again. We've reached a donation goal for the tier 2 scene as of last week. Congratulations, claps all around. So yeah, we need the new week, by the way. Have you guys donated? Hesitation, didn't think so. Yet. Moving on. What was the other option? The tier 2 team. I think Rare Atom is gonna like fight EDG in like stage 2 playoffs, and Simon's gonna come in off the top rope with a steel chair.
Rare Atom.
I feel like it's a tier 2 team making it champs. I feel like that storyline will exist somewhere in the world.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on my. I still don't understand how it's going to work, by the way, because the. I don't think they've announced any details. Like, does the tier 2 team have to make the grand finals in order to qual, or do they? So. Yeah, that
at least top 3. I would think they're going to have at least one team go from champs points. So it's going to have to be top 2 or top 3.
Right, because the tier 2 team isn't going to make champs points. No, I don't think they have to win.
No, they won't have to win.
They'd have to win.
No,
that would be too harsh. Surely.
I know, but that makes it even more possible. The harsher the conditions are for tier 2. Like a pufferfish, they explode and they win, bro. They need harsher conditions. The more information we give these guys, the less likely of a chance we have.
Okay,
they'll get dissected. Keep them in the dark.
Yeah,
give
don't
them
say
less
anything.
Money.
Don't say anything.
Yeah, make them more hungry. Donate less just for this episode to the tier 2 scene. I want to see less donations today, just for today.
I agree with Shyo though. I think it's more likely a tier 2 team makes it. I'm on that train. Okay.
You're on the train. You like what percentage would you give that?
If they have to make top 4,
let's say they have to make top 3.
Over a third chance.
You really think
that a tier 2 team makes it somewhere in the world? 16 chances. They have 16 chances of making a top 3. Yeah, I think they've got about I think I'd take a 1 in 3 chance that a team makes it. But if they have to make a finals, I think it goes down quite a bit, maybe to like 1 in 5 chance that they make it, something like that. Like the odds are pretty stacked against them at that point.
Okay.
Some of these tier 2 teams, like they're gonna be fucking like after stage 1, there's gonna be some shakeups and stuff. We might see some god level tier 2 teams like actually making significant signings, right? Like I really know they have a chance.
Like anytime you see top tier 2 teams playing against tier 1 teams, there are going to be upsets, right? Even just if you look at Soup right now, SLT destroyed DRX, who just did really well at Champions. Are you telling me that SLT team, if the stars align in terms of the timing when SLT are good and the rest of the teams are in a bit of a slump or something, that they couldn't make a run through? I just feel like, obviously using G2 as an example is a bit fraudulent in Americas because they were like, a tier 1 team that just stayed in tier 2 for a year. But even without that, you've still seen a lot of good tier 2 teams that could punch. I think Envy, get them on the right day, and they might have been able to do it last year. There are times where you could have looked at tier 2 teams and thought, yeah, I'd actually take them as odds on to be able to make a run here.
Okay. Sideshow, you next. PaperX win multiple internationals, or they don't attend multiple internationals.
Oh, God. I mean, what an episode to have this on as well after the report has just come out saying that Patman has been benched and Envy is coming in to replace. I suppose in light of that, maybe you would take the under and say that they have like made a mistake and this would fuck them up. I don't really buy that, though. I think that Envy's going to be a good pickup for the team. I think he's got the right level of crackhead energy, and I think he's also just an on-paper skill upgrade for Patman, which I think Patman was also really skilled. I just believe in Envy's skill quite a lot. Do I think, though, that they win multiple internationals? No.
Ooh.
I don't think either of them are likely, though. They'd have to be 5th best at the end of the year not to make an international, though. Fucking hell. Both of these are insanely unlikely. I guess I'm going with them winning too.
Wow.
But I think the chances are in the bin for both of these. I think insanely more likely is that they just qual for a few and don't win any or win one max.
Yeah, of course that's more likely, but let me give you, what's more likely, 2 + 2 = 4, or 3 × 2 = 8?
Well, honestly, 3 × 2 = 8 is probably more likely than 2 + 2, but...
A classic Shyo take.
Yeah, classic Shyo take. Shyo, do you agree then? Is it more likely that PaperX win multiple internationals than not going?
I think it's more likely that they win multiple,
wow,
than not go at all. I feel like if they're there, they have a chance to win, right?
I mean, that is how it works.
They have multiple chances to win in that timeline completing.
Yep, if they're there, they have a chance to win.
And I feel like they're always going to be there out of the region at least once. But then could they win? No. I'll have to go the other way. I feel like there's a chance they just don't make any. I think this could be the end. Who knows? There's many good teams inside Pacific. I feel like it's more likely they don't make it at all than they make double. Or they win double. Yes.
Bro's hoping that, like, I don't know, they all get into a snowboarding accident and break their wrists or something in order for that
might be more likely than winning 2 with this.
I mean, what would be the case of them not? Obviously, the case for them winning multiple is just like Envy is a massive hit. The meta works for them, right? It doesn't nerf Yoru for some reason. Double Duos sticks around. They're really good. The case for them not making it to them would be, as we said, Pacific being good. Who would have to be good? You'd need T1 to work, probably. You need
who would still
DRX.
be good? Tell me, who would still be good? So T1 DRX, Gen G,
probably need Gen
SLT.
G to be good, and then like an SLT.
Like Frost brings up GE.
Maybe Boom if they pick up the Talon roster. The Talon roster is good. That
RRQ,
kind of thing.
It becomes more consistent.
To be honest, even this year, weren't PaperX kind of close to missing out?
Yeah,
they were really close to missing out.
They missed the first one. They almost missed the second one, but obviously because they won the second one, their champs like points were good because they were
like through the roof. So
yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely possible that they miss out on them, but I think there'd have to be some mitigating circumstances. Like, I don't know, Jing would have to get redrafted back into the military or something, and then,
Yeah. Okay.
How many more of
Shyo?
these have you got, TMV?
I've got 2 more.
Okay.
Shyo, 1 for you. Riot makes Harbor good, or Riot makes Viper bad?
Riot makes Viper bad. They're never going to make Harbor good, let's be honest. Viper, at some point, is going to have, like, I don't know, 1 fuel charge per thing, and it's done. And we buff the fuel, and that'll be like, she'll have no recharge. Or Viper will have a molly that's maybe even worse. Viper is like Valorant's Aurelia, I feel like, where she only gets nerfs randomly. Any league knows in the chat. For context, for the non-league players, it's like there would be horrid things in the meta on one side. Like, imagine that Raze's blast pack was like just too fast, or like you had old Jet, right? They would nerf old Jet, but then also nerf Viper. Like, that's how it would work in league. There'd be a crazy change to like adjust the game. By the way, fuck Aurelia, -5 movement speed. Like, I feel like we're going down a path where the only way we adjust Viper is by slightly just like throwing rocks at her, like Chinese torture water droplet device every patch. Like, take one little thing away.
Worked. It still hasn't worked.
It doesn't work.
I think it's more likely that happens than they tried to rework this guy and give him new abilities, and he ended up worse. There's no love for the brown men in this game.
That's why they're going to fix it, Shyo. That's why they're going to fix it.
They tried already.
No.
They tried to buff this guy in previous patches. They changed the fucking map pool for Harbor at one point to have more Harbor maps in. He still wasn't good. The fucking post-plant meta, they nerfed up with by changing mollies and whatnot. They changed the entire initiator spectrum, man. The whole spectrum's been changed. You only use 1 piece of util. The Cove should be godlike. It's rechargeable. He's still ass, derriere, booty, bro. It's horrid. It's horrid.
They're going to fix him.
What more can they do?
They're going to fix him, Shyo. They're going to...
What are they going to add? What could they possibly... Your teammates can now move through the water. Oh my God. I'm feeling
Here's what they're going to do. Here's what they're going to do. They're going to take all of the feedback that people are angry about the Harbor rework, and they're going to be like, oh, we really fucked up with this one. They're going to put the cascades back. They're going to remove his little whirlpool that he throws out on the floor.
They're just going to reinvert it.
No, not revert. Keep the Cove the same way that it works at the moment. Keep the ultimate as it is right now, but maybe even, I don't know, that more powerful near sight. They're going to put the cascades back in instead of the whirlpool. They're going to also they're going to make it so that your teammates, when they run through stuff, don't get slowed down. Then they're going to make his they're going to make his gun shoot 7 times faster as well.
Harder to control the recoil. Harder to control the recoil. Dude, there's no... even if they add the cascades back in, doesn't have a molly, still ass.
No, he's not ass
until he's a
molly.
Timmy agent. Until he's a Timmy agent, it's not possible. And Timmy agents are like chambers. They're like the ones where you can just see the innate value already. Of, put down the trip, everything's good. I gotta angle... I'm gonna turn into Brent here. Angle the wall. Put my Cove down. Activate the Cove. Put my molly down. I have the ult. I'm gonna position for the ult. Angle my wall again. No. Fuck that shit.
You don't have 2 walls. You don't have 2 walls, by the way.
You actually used all your util long ago.
Fuck. There's no way this agent can get buffed before Viper gets nerfed. It just is what it is. It is what it is.
I think because you just were so passionate about that, I think you've won the debate. I don't think really there can be any question. And finally, to finish, we've kind of touched on this one a little bit, but Sideshow, America's wins more trophies or Pacific wins more trophies?
I think this year America's is more stacked. I think some of the Pacific teams, even though they've looked like they're on the right trajectory to get better and better, I think the roster changes in this offseason, they failed to capitalize on some important opportunities to like gather talent into a single team. I think T1 would be the closest to that inside of Pacific, and even then, I'm not huge on what they did with their rebuild. I like the Munchkin addition, but we talked about it last time in terms of like how weird the team feels a little bit now with Munchkin and Stacks on the squad. They're just lacking a bit of, crazy firepower that they could have got from somebody else, I think. But the Americas teams are nuts. Like even if one of them fails completely, the fact that you still have let's say the MIBR fall to pieces like we were talking about earlier on. The fact that you still have G2 and NRG, maybe you could argue it's a slightly nerfed version of G2, but you can't really say the same for NRG, at least. And then you still have, like, Lev waiting in the wings, who I think look pretty nutty good as well. Plus a bunch of, like, wildcard picks, too. I think Americas should be the strongest region heading into next year. As long as I think if Pacific is still looking better, it means that they've figured something absolutely fundamental about the meta and the direction of the game that everybody else needs to wake the fuck up and look at. And I think that could well be true, because I think the way that T1 and PaperX have been playing, where they play much more aggro on defense and like deny space and stuff, is super crucial. But I think other people are starting to wake up to that anyway and add it into their games. So I'm big on Americas for next year, even though that bucks the pattern a little bit of Pacific getting better and better.
Shyo, you with? Oh!
I've been executed. A wise and hungry man once said, the higher you stack your plate, the messier it gets. All right? America's stacked for sure. But in my opinion, I feel like it just cannibalizes itself to the fact that, like, maybe they win the more important trophies being this strong as a region, but on consistency hitting over the year, I might still give it over to Pacific getting stronger and stronger. We almost had a dynasty this year of Pacific in general. Maybe NRG win champs again, or MIBR have a good chance of winning the really big trophy towards the end. Kickoff and maybe even the first Masters after that. Like, I feel like Pacific still has a high chance. And as strong as America's is, are we going to be sending our best teams? Or will the best teams get knocked out by the other?
They're not sending their best. It's an America's classic.
it's the whole thing. Like, MIBR are really good, but if 100 Thieves are also so super strong in the moment, end up like knocking down MIBR to maybe a bad seed coming into like a Masters, or like the region's so good that they can't even, get the numbers 1, 2, 3 right. Like, their math is bad coming into who should be in the right seed. They might just kick themselves in the foot, man. Bicycle guy with the peg on his front wheel flips over. Ow. Who did this to me? Like, what the fuck? What's happening? It's yourself. It's your own region. Your region's too good. We need some 2Gs. We need some old Furias. We need some fodder to farm. Everyone can't be a champion on the Rift, right? Like, you gotta have bomb site A, bomb site B. You can't just have every space be spike plannable. There's got to be some progression.
True, he brings up a good point. Like, if it just takes one little upset, if America's is too competitive, one little bad week.
We're also sending an extra team to kickoff. You send 3 teams, and 4 teams. You should have a decent crop from America's every time.
I know, but if the 80s are beating the 90s, if the B students are beating the A students, and we send the B students, and some of the A students aren't in the A slots.
It's exactly what happened at Masters Madrid to EMEA when they sent KC and Heretics.
It is.
And they weren't the best teams at that time, but they would get, KC didn't, but Heretics did. I'd get there eventually. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for playing this game. Leave a fucking comment and maybe subscribe. Hello? I put some work into thinking about those. Maybe leave a comment about what you would do. Fucking subscribe. Holy shit. Someone else take over.
All right. Well, for starters, I'm going to tell you about the sponsor of this episode. And this message is sponsored by Raycon. Because... hold the phone if you're looking for a holiday gift. Well, previously though, Shyo, we've been advertising their everyday essential earbuds. Now this week, Raycon want us to talk about Raycon's essential open earbuds. So these are the ones.
Exactly what I have.
Oh, you do have one of those as well. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold the phone. So these
look at them.
These are different to the other ones that we were talking about, where they go into your ear and they isolate the noise. These are more open, so they're better for stuff like the gym, when you're going out walking. I have a lot of areas around York, for example, where people ride their bikes and they ding their bell if they want to go past you, and if you're lost in a world of music like I am, you're going to get run over, or possibly knock people off your bike. It depends how heavy you are, I suppose. I think I would pose more damage to them than they'd pose to me. But anyway, if you're looking for some open earbuds, then Raycon's essential open earbuds are 20% off for the holidays. So grab them while you can, because the holidays are coming up pretty shortly at this point. The Raycon headphones sit outside your ear canal. You can get really clear sound, but you can also hear what's happening around you too. The ear hook part rotates so they can actually stay in properly as well. If you're on the gym, on a walk, doing stuff around the house, that kind of stuff. Raycon has over 3 million customers, and if you don't like them, they have a 30-day guarantee as well. So no risk in terms of taking advantage of this offer. Shyo, tell me a bit about them.
Well, I can hear everything you're saying right now while listening to music, which is kind of crazy. It's the open earbud system. I can hear my fan operating. Actually, funnily enough, my wife actually used these all night yesterday while she was gaming. I just dropped one of the earbuds. That's unfortunate, but they're so durable, so I can pick it right back up, and it's not going to take any damage. It's kind of crazy. But she was doing like she was walking around like she was cooking a little bit. She was just like jamming downstairs while at her setup. I was playing my little roguelike games. We're having a conversation. And she could hear things around her as well. Like she had TFT on in the background, would know when it's her turn to play, even though she's not even at the desk. I mean, if you are a gamer and you want to move around, amazing. And I experience with that, it's really nice. If you like the gym, but you also want to hear if there's like a truck smashing into your entire gym complex and you need to run and get and tumble out of the way, you can hear that happening. Like the open system.
So true.
This could save your life.
It could save your life. It truly
So
could.
true.
If there's a meteor that's going to hit your house, like at any point, you can hear it coming, and you're not going to be distracted.
You better hope the Brent is in control of our simulation, because a meteor is coming for your house.
It's good though. It's good quality. It has a mic as well, so you can talk. You can see what's up. You can say hello. It's nice. It's really cool.
All right, so the Essential Open Earbuds are here for the holiday season, and they are selling fast. Raycon audio products are up to 20% off in this holiday season. Go to buyraycon.com/VodfathersOpen to save on Raycon audio products site-wide. Order by December 15th to guarantee delivery by Christmas. So that's 10 days before. So because great gifts shouldn't show up late. There we go. Thank you to Raycon for sponsoring the episode as well. Let's
save some money and potentially save your life.
Yeah, possibly. All right, I want to move us along here to talking about some of the format stuff very briefly. So let's get into the Galaxy Brain Club, where we can talk about some of the format announcements that have just happened. Now, we knew that kickoff was going to be triple elimination, but I think a lot of people didn't really process that information when it was announced months back. Because so many people were looking at this and then in my chat and being like, have you seen the format? Have you seen the format? I'm like, yeah, it's triple elimination, bro. But it is interesting. It's a format that I've actually never seen used before. I think I've actually played in a tennis tournament that had triple elimination at one point.
Tennis tournament? I thought you were about to say TF2 and then you said tennis. What the fuck are we talking about?
But it's somewhat similar to Swiss.
Where did you finish in that tennis tournament?
Oh, I mean, not deep, I can tell you that. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, I won a game. Then the tennis tournaments that I play in TMV are doubles tournaments in the local community where you pair you up with a random older person. So I'm normally playing alongside a 60-year-old against two 60-year-olds. So yeah, I'm doing all right in those tournaments, bro. I'm doing okay in those tournaments. Yeah, it's a little bit like Swiss, right? Because if they made this a Swiss tournament, you'd expect, if there were 16 teams in it, that you would have to go 3-0 or 0-3 in order to progress or be eliminated. Not 0-3, but you know what I mean. 3 wins or 3 losses and you'd be in or out. This is a little bit similar to that, but with some crucial differences of you can have rematches, you know which opponents are potentially coming up and in your part of the bracket. I think it's a bit easier to follow as well because you don't have to have these group draws all the time, that kind of stuff. So yeah. I like it. I think it's fun. And I also think it's a good idea that they don't play out the seeding matches at the end too. I can understand grand finals later on in the season when it's actually you've got a trophy and you are the best team in Americas for that portion of time. But I think kickoff feels more like a qualification tournament for the first Masters anyway. So I like the fact that they've structured it as if it's a qualification tournament where you don't need to play the seeding games at the end.
Yeah. We also could end up with some very fun scenarios as well, where if a team makes it to that first grand final, if you want to call it that, where you've won throughout without losing, and then you lose that game, and then you go into a second grand final, and then you lose that game. Imagine the pressure of being a team that's had multiple chances to make it, and is now on their last legs, desperate to make it. God, I mean the memes that will come if some team flames out after losing 3 in a row, 3
but also,
strikes.
Someone is actually fairly likely to do that, right? Because if you look at match 25, the upper final, the loser of match 25, of which there has to be one, goes into match 29, the middle final. So all you have to do is lose that game. Whoever loses that game, if they came from the uppers, they're an insane pressure scenario. There's a very, very strong chance of that narrative happening.
And I assume those are all best of 5s because they are qualification games. Maybe the first one isn't. I don't know, but the last 2 definitely will be.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. If,
they should all be. They should all be.
They should all be because they are
we're
qualified.
25 matches deep.
But that's not like that's not how it works.
Oh yeah, that's not how it works normally.
That's not how it works usually.
The first one probably is a best of 3.
We normally only play grand finals for trophies as BO5s. We don't play qualification games. So I suspect all of them will be BO3s. Because also, just from a logistics point of view, if you have 30 matches in kickoff, up from 22 in the previous year, a BO5 takes up the entire day. You can play 2 BO3s in a day. So I would imagine they're playing them all as BO3s.
As a counterpoint to you, though, I would say if you look at it, match 29 is that second qualification game. That would mean that if whoever loses that, if they're both best of 3s, would have to play back-to-back best of 3s.
Oh, great point, actually. Holy shit.
Those 2 are best of 5s.
So you play the upper final, then one of the middle games, then one of the lower games, then the other lower game, and then you go back up for match 29 to the middle final and then the lower final. Christ, yeah.
Which I guess are best of 5s, because making a team play twice in the same day for qualification against different teams would be crazy.
Yeah, that would be
back to back.
That would be bad.
It might be a thing you need though, just to make the format happen. Like this is just one region, by the way. There's 120 games we're gonna be watching of Valorant. If you take in the numbers,
crazy.
That is ridiculous.
I'm gonna die
in 1 month. Yeah, we are gonna have heart problems in the future.
The bad part is too that sometimes in tournaments like this you can ignore them a little bit. Like you look at the lower brackets and you're just like, there's some shit teams down there. I'm not going to bother watching.
Lower bracket.
But the problem is this is kickoff. It's the first time we're ever seeing a lot of these rosters play. So it's like even if like FURIA or DFM or something are getting eliminated in the lower bracket, like you're still going to want to tune in and watch that game in order to see what this new version of the team look like. So we really are going to be like straight up overdosing on Valorant to start the year.
Yeah.
And the most interesting thing about this is like the amount of narratives in lower bracket, like just going off of the O2, the teams that people are going to be losing against, it's going to be nuts. Like the amount of just culminations just based off 2 matches in that lowers is going to be nuts. And the deeper you make it, as soon as you get to like match 27, it's like the most interesting timelines of like the middle and the upper bracket clashing in the lowers. Like I think past like match 20, every region is just cinema. And before that, it's still cinema. It's like movie trailers you haven't seen before the cinematic review. Like it's amazing because it's a bunch of teams that you have no idea what's happening. The only boring part of this might be some middle matches. This is like, it's like maybe a close loss against a team. But is that even boring? Because like we're watching Valorant for the first time with these teams. It's like on a new patch, that's where you start to bring out some strats. Do you want to get back in the lower bracket? Do you want to stay in the middle bracket? I mean, it's fucked. It's so good.
Then they also released the year format as well. So like the entire year schedule. It does have some overlapping dates in it because, for example, like America's kickoff begins earlier than some of the other regions. So I think they've just put in like the first region to begin. But remember that there can sometimes be a week, maybe even 2 weeks between when some of these regions are going to play. Just based on various logistical things. And what struck me looking at the schedule, though, as a absolutely perennial EWC hater, is that again there's no space in the fucking calendar for it at all.
Definitely no space this year.
It makes no sense, bro. It makes no sense whatsoever that they've signed themselves up to a 3-year deal for this tournament with absolutely no space in the calendar for it. And I'm not saying that
you're not going to be able to do your charity streams because you're going to be watching Valorant.
Exactly. There's not even any time off to be able to do like stuff to fuck around with.
No,
EWC.
I see it.
What do you mean I see it?
What it is. I can see it. Between September 6th and September 24th, that is ample time to churn the teams.
Is UFC still running then?
I think it's done by
they'll
then.
adjust. That orange peel, that orange slice, the half orange is going to get churned and fucking squeezed.
Before champs is even crazier.
You're an idiot if you're a champs team when you go to EWC right before champs.
Listen, if they're offering you millions, there will be teams that say yes. How many teams blamed EWC already on the burnout they had that led to some of the issues for stage 2? And they knew that would happen. And they knew how important stage 2 was into making champs. They were already offered this, Josh, and they chose the money. And I feel like
now they have
some of these.
I mean, you speak about squeezing. I mean, Sideshow squeezed all of his content from those streams. I mean, YouTube is still squeezing out those streams for content.
That's true. They're also still putting game changers after champs, which I think we already knew. But like at some point, I think they probably need to pull that further in because we see the same problems again and again where the off season begins as game changers is happening. and so you can't really get included in any of the roster moves that people are making. But otherwise it just seems like a pretty similar format to last year, where things, apart from the fact that Santiago's longer because it has 12 teams, it just, I mean, it seems just
well,
like
they've pushed
nice
everything
schedule.
back as well, though. Everything's a bit later.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Wait, what's later?
Well, Champs finished on October 3rd this year. This year it's ending October 18th. Of course, there is no Ascension, so that's kind of making up for it somewhat. We're also starting a little bit later. I think China, in particular, started on like the 9th or 10th.
7th. I think.
Yeah,
But also
so,
it took a
they
break.
started a week.
Like China took a break
from the 17th. We started last year on the 17th. We're starting earlier, actually, from what I see kickoff-wise.
Well, that's the Americas day again.
Yeah, for
the Jan 15th is Americas. The other thing to note as well, if you're not a very in-depth follower of these kind of pieces of news, is that they are not calling it the Stage 2 playoffs anymore. They're calling it the season finals by the look of this. So that's because the Tier 2 teams, there are going to be 4 Tier 2 teams that also get added in. So I guess calling it Stage 2 playoffs would just be very confusing because the Tier 2 teams have not played in Stage 2, have they? So it's much... It seems like they're trying to brand it much more as like, this is the culmination of the entire season. Yeah, this is the end of your domestic season. I wouldn't be surprised if they start dropping the trophy, either size, prestige, or even altogether for Stage 1 playoffs, and making it feel a little bit more like 2023, where there was only one domestic trophy to play for. Because we already know there's no kickoff trophy, right? So while we as a community might talk about, a winner of kickoff, it might feel a little bit different from the player's point of view if there isn't like a big grand finals to play for. It's that upper finals that qualify you.
The problem I would have with that is, surely the bet, like if you just have one, domestic trophy, isn't the best team the team with the most champ points though? Like, aren't they? Like, what if you end up with a team that has the most champ points but doesn't win that? Like, who is actually the best team of the
now
domestic
you're saying
season?
this, not to bring up Fortnite again, but that was the issue with every battle royale, where like there's a consistent team and then there's a team that wins that very final game and they're celebrating because they've won something, but overall the grand finals winner was the team that came third 6 times in a row.
But also, I kind of like those discussions because I think they add to the scene. I don't think they detract from it. For example,
if you're giving out a trophy, who are you giving it to?
No. You're definitely giving it to the team that won the grand finals. They would always do that. They have done that in previous years. The trophy has been lifted by teams that haven't had the most champs points. That's already been a thing that can occur. And
but that's occurred. But back then it's like a stage trophy. Whereas now you're saying like this is the
it's culmination of the season finals. Yeah.
But
it's still celebrate the winner of the day.
I think that's fine though. It's a little bit like saying EDG won the champs finals, but they weren't the best team of 2024. Like both of those things can be true, and I think that actually adds a bit of depth to the scene because you, as an outsider, get to say, "Oh well, Gen G probably overall were actually the best team that
look
year."
at him. What you mean is, I'm Sideshow. I love to be a contrarian and go, well, actually, if you look at the champ point table and the head-to-head matchup over the entire course of the season, it's actually
being able to have multiple interpretations.
So actually, I think you should have listed the trophy.
Doesn't even talk like that.
Being able to have multiple interpretations of who was good and who was bad leads to rich discussion. As long as things are clearly defined. And I think we do clearly define still that the winner is the guy who picks up the trophy at the end.
Okay.
And my 2 cents on it is that there has to be one, because this is like in Stage 1, there has to be a trophy. This is the last time we have this format. They're going to milk it for as much as it can be in terms of prestige, in terms of how much they can hand out. Next year, I think it's better if we just have one regional trophy a year and we see what's up and we have a nice ramp up to that system. But that's up for discussion. Maybe there's a different format that's amazing. It just looks like with playoffs there.
We should do 12-week stages, 2 12-week stages, starting probably last November. 1 game every 2 weeks. Really let them prep for it. Really drag it out. That's what people want, right?
Valorant Island. All teams there playing internationally the whole year in round robin Swiss. Holy shit. That's
Remember
what I
after
want.
2023 when everyone was like, give me 2 10-week stages. And then Sideshow's getting his little spreadsheet out going, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
What are you going to put EWC? It doesn't work.
Yeah, well, cut the tournament, I think. Everything is on fire within the Ulf camp as well. So I want to talk briefly.
Well, this is what I didn't want to refer to it in my question at the start of like a tier 2 team gets kicked. You know, you two were very sure on like, oh no, the tier 2 team will definitely make it to champs. No one's getting kicked mid-season. Well, let's talk about this.
Yeah, well, they might get kicked before the season even begins. True. Who knows?
True.
So there was reporting from the LEC side of things that ULF, the new team that just won Ascension, I guess you could say. There wasn't a match
again of who lifts the trophy.
Well, they didn't play a game against each other, so that was a bit strange. They each lifted a trophy. But anyway, ULF qualified through Ascension. So both of the Ascension teams are in a really weird spot because Pacific had their entire all of their players got just taken by BBL. So now Pacific is ascended but with no team, and ULF has a roster, but they might not be paying them. So the report from Sheep Esports from Wooloo on the LEC side said that the org has been suffering from financial problems, hasn't been paying the players, that kind of thing. And it was a player was one of the sources. He says he still stands by that reporting and has evidence to be able to confirm it all as well. ULF Esports came out a couple of days ago, as of this time of recording, and said, I won't read the statement in full, but I'll read out some key parts of it. We've been compelled to issue a statement due to baseless allegations targeting our club. And then we would like to express our deep discomfort and sadness at seeing our club's name associated with events that do not reflect the truth in any way. The posts in question have been distorted, exaggerated, and turned into an organized provocation campaign, completely detached from reality. The financial situation our club is going through is exceptional and temporary. The payments of all players, employees, and business partners we have worked with in the past have been made in full, and written commitments regarding the process have been secured. So, a very strange statement in which they very emphatically say it's bollocks. They don't reflect the truth in any way. But then they say
it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. No, then they say the financial situation is exceptional and temporary. So clearly you are.
They are in a financial situation. Yeah. Yes. So it's not baseless, then, is it?
No, exactly. So what the fuck are they talking about? It's a very, very strange statement. It reads like a politician's response that's designed to just say a lot of stuff that makes it sound like you're being very firm. Whilst
trying to deflect and take some of the blame at the same time.
Yeah.
They're trying to compromise and be like, fuck off.
But also gaslight a lot as well. We kindly request that the manipulative agenda created around these allegations not be taken seriously.
You're not asking kindly if you're putting manipulative agenda after the fact, are you?
But I could understand a manipulative agenda if it was like, can you imagine gentle mates are the ones that are trying to get Koi removed? And so there was, in that scenario, all right, there might be a manipulative agenda. This is a player. You
wouldn't kindly ask, though, would you?
No, no.
Koi wouldn't be like, we kindly ask gentlemates to stop saying that we're trash.
But this is a player. Down. This is a player that has come forward as a source. Yes, their own player. And then their evidence has been looked at and confirmed by a reporter for Sheep Esports, who's then
It'd be one thing if like Jonah P was like, oh, by the way, G2 didn't pay me for the past 6 months. You know, that like if it was a player that they just kicked, that would be one thing. But it's very strange, isn't it? But I mean, here's this the bad part about this is in EMEA again, because if they were to kick out ULF, they would have to organize a game between players who aren't even probably on those teams anymore, or like have new teams, right? Because again, they didn't play that final. They didn't have a third place. So like, who was it? It was Mandatory and someone else. If they were going to kick out ULF, who was the other team?
It's the one with Waddle and stuff, wasn't it? Dysentery. Dynasty.
Dysentery. Yeah, but Dynasty and Mandatory would both argue that, I mean, Mandatory were the team that lost to ULF, but there's no reason why Dynasty wouldn't also be equally as likely to make it. So, like, and then you'd have to organize a game, and probably the players would be different. It would be like a
It sounds like a
mess.
nightmare. It's a
complete shit show at this point. If like ULF are like completely, if they are somehow lying here, and it does feel like maybe there's a bit of projection going on there of like, no, I'm definitely not in trouble. Don't you fucking dare say that. Yeah. I am in a little bit of trouble though.
They did say one of the final paragraphs was, as soon as the relevant authorities reach out to us, all documents including contract and bank statements will be shared with them in full. And then they do say, after the process is concluded by official institutions, legal action will be taken against individuals involved in this organized attack intended to damage our club's brand value.
But they are seeing ghosts everywhere. Every corner there's a killer.
This is the kind of statement that you see from the Chinese orgs quite a lot. Where the Chinese, if you've ever seen a statement from the Chinese orgs after something like this happens, they go hard in the fucking paint like this, and they're like, "We will be suing." So I don't know. Maybe they've just taken a page out of that book. Maybe it's a cultural difference in Turkey or something that I'm unaware of. But it does seem like mad.
But like I said, it's almost like, and at a certain point, like you were arguing in the earlier discussion. Like, it's getting too late to kick people out.
Yeah.
You're just gonna, and then fucking hell, how do you run a triple-elim 11-team bracket? Good luck with that.
With buys, holy, that'll be.
I don't feel bad for the players, though, because I think if the ULF team does get kicked, it's just the easiest thing in the world that Pacific would sign them. Well, Pacific don't have a single player at the moment, from what we know. They don't have one. And they've previously had a full Turkish organization, full Turkish team, rather. Yeah. So that just seems like the easiest slap.
That's how we fix the problem. 10-team tournament. That's easier than
11. Yeah, possibly. If you're running out of money, like allegedly, and I strongly use the word allegedly because apparently they're litigious as well. But if you're allegedly running out of money, then perhaps consider the other sponsor of this episode, which is Mint Mobile, who are providing things at much, much lower rates than the competitors. If you live in the United States and you're looking to try to get some kind of unlimited wireless plan right now, then don't pay for the overpriced phone bills that are going to leave you unable to pay for your Turkish players' salaries. Instead, consider Mint Mobile's unlimited plans because they're 50% off. And you can get 3, 6, or 12 months of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. And that is their best deal of the year and makes it really easy for you to give your expensive wireless bill the Scrooge treatment. Just as Riot may give to Ulf. We'll see.
I heard EG were able to afford their 10-man roster again because they started using Mint Mobile.
Yeah.
Wow.
Honestly, the savings compared to when I lived in the US, the prices, it was eye-watering, TMV. I lived for 5 years there, and one of the biggest differences was the phone bills. They're through the roof compared to
well, maybe the coverage hopefully is better, especially with Mint Mobile as well, because I'm going out here in the UK. Fucking hell, I'm in a town. I'm in the middle of a fucking town, and it's like, it's not working.
Well, they do come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network. And you can
5G? You're lucky to get 3 in some places around me. 3!
Where do you live? You're living out in the sticks.
Fucking Narnia, mate.
Yeah. Playing with the fawns and the talking beavers. You can bring your current phone and your number over to Mint as well, so you don't have any contract, you don't have to sign up for a phone and all of that kind of stuff. No nonsense, just your $15 a month payments on 3, 6, or 12-month unlimited plans. We've also had people inside LFN try out Mint Mobile, and they were extremely good, found it to be reliable with good coverage, and it's just so much cheaper than what you'll be able to get in a lot of other places. So turn your expensive wireless present into a huge wireless savings future by switching to Mint. You can shop Mint unlimited plans at mintmobile.com/vodfathers. That's mintmobile.com/vodfathers. It's a limited time offer with upfront payment of $45 for the 3-month plan, $90 for the 6-month plan, or $180 for the 12-month plan. Required, that's equivalent to your $15 per month. Taxes and fees are extra. Initial plan terms only. Over 35 gigabytes. May be slow when network is busy. Capable device required. Availability, speed, and coverage varies. See mintmobile.com for further details. And thank you to Mint for sponsoring this episode. Let's talk, though, about some Valorant matches that have been happening recently. So there's been a couple of tournaments going on right now. There's obviously the Soup tournament happening that I think a lot of people have been paying attention to. But one popped up out of kind of nowhere recently called Project Blender, which I didn't even know was going on until like a couple of days ago when the matches started occurring. Vitality has played their debut match against a team called Eternal Fire, who might have some players you're familiar with if you're an old head, because Izzy and Brave went to Masters Berlin to play for SMB, Supermassive Blaze. They lost. Vitality lost 13-11 on Abyss to open their game. Did bounce back in an unstreamed game afterwards against Error Esport, but I have no clue how good Error are. I don't think they're actually that great. And that the problem with this tournament is at the moment they're just playing a bunch of BO1s, like a lot of BO1s as well. I think you need to win 4 BO1s to get through. So with 1 loss now, Vitality are guaranteed to play at least 5.
Tournament.
It's a ridiculous tournament.
In phase 1.
There are guys are unfamiliar with Blender. It's like the reason it's called Blender is because it's taking like the most amount of teams you've seen for like a little bit of an organized tournament. It's like a very open bracketish tournament, but like everyone is here and like they go up in stages and phases. And we're at the phase now where you have some invited teams like Vitality, some of the tier 1 teams up against teams that have tried to go through the qualification system like Eternal Fire. Because it's a BO1, it gets more interesting. You can play more matches overall because there's so many teams. You have to kind of narrow down. And you get matches like this with the potential upset. One thing to tell people if they don't have the VLR page pulled up and they didn't watch the matches, the first thing I'm seeing too, because I'm one of those people when I pulled up this page, is that this was a full Turkish roster. And when that's happening in a BO1, doesn't matter what team you are, there's a chance you're just going to get outgunned, outfragged. Usually the score is like much more divisive and like a 13-7 rather than like a 13-11, because I think this was a Vitality comeback as well. Eternal Fire were up in the first half, I think a 7-5. And then Vitality tried to mount and come back. Eventually, their fire was snuffed. Other teams' fire was eternal. So things were looking good.
Really good, really good. There's actually a ton of other teams playing in this tournament too. Yeah. Gentle Mates are 1-1 right now after losing to Galatasaray Esports. KC are in here. They're 2-0. Navi are 2-0 with wins over some like. Oh, sorry, they're 2-1 with wins over some decent teams. But Navi lost to Team Liquid Academy in this tournament. Foot also lost to Galatasaray Esports, so Foot and Gentlemates losing to that.
That's a big loss, to be fair, to Galatasaray.
Yeah?
It's Galatasaray, by the way. They're a football team.
Oh, Galatasaray, sorry. But they're another full Turkish team as well.
Yeah.
So this is a 32 team phase in Swiss right now. So there's a top 16, a bottom 16. You have things like BBL Esports, and you also have things like Ratatouille from France.
Yeah.
Without looking, who right now do you think in this current phase is the highest rated player? It's a player you know. They're on a tier 1 team.
Highest rated player in a tier 1
without
team.
looking.
Was on the same team last year. Stayed on their team.
Mini.
Aura.
Oh, both wrong. It's actually Aves from KC, who's currently on a 1.75. He's fucking farming in a low sample size.
Yeah. It's a very low sample size as well, because remember, these are BO1s too. So even though KC's played like 2 games, it's only 2 maps. So, it's an interesting tournament to look at. But here's what I wanted to ask you guys specific questions about, though, is that when I looked at the Team Vitality game, what struck me was that for all of the talk about this roster being constructed better than the previous ones, they still have some weird role situations going on. Obviously, Profek is going to be the smokes player. Obviously, Dirk is going to be on Duelist, right? But then you've got Sayonara, Yampi, and Chronicle. I think historically we would have called kind of all of them initiator players of some various degree, maybe like flex players as well. But they have been running, from what I can tell, pretty much exclusively double Duelist, with Sayonara playing the second Duelist. And then Chronicle is shifting his role around depending on what needs to be played. So, for example, on Abyss, Chronicle's mostly been playing Senti, really. And he's been playing Vito on Abyss, and then Chamber on some of the other maps. Which, I know that the guy's been playing a ton of Viper, but he's not really historically known as a Sentinel player. He has played it, but he's much more of a flex.
Cypher, yeah.
It's not. I don't remember a single season where he's played a full, a stage even as like a full hardcore Senti. He's played a ton of Viper, obviously, which has a lot of overlap. But when I was looking at these pages of their comps, it did strike me that they don't have a natural like hard Senti player, and so maybe they will miss out on a bunch of the Chronicle value from putting him on a role where he's going to be less used to it, and also less able to play off his teammates, which I think is one of his strongest attributes.
Yeah,
I think.
You go, Shay.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
No, you go.
No, it's all good. I've been going. It's all you.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, sorry, my mom's calling me. So you go ahead, and then I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, I mean, you said they were playing double duelist. I'm interested. I'm interested to see this. You say double duelist on Corrode. They're playing Yoru Phoenix. I mean,
yeah, that's bizarre, isn't it?
I want to see that. I really hope that they bring that to kickoff. But for me, not just the fact that they're playing Phoenix is interesting. I am very interested, and I really kind of hope that this happens, that all these teams are playing double duelist now. God, if Riot drops a Euro nerf.
They will at some point in the season. 100%.
No, but like, even if it was just before kickoff, though, that would be so funny.
That'd be so troll.
That would be so fucking funny if they did that. And just all these teams have been playing double duelist for no fucking reason. But yeah, with the Chronicle point, it is quite interesting because like he's playing Chamber here on Corrode, right? Which again, like as you say, like if this was Fnatic, that would be Alphia, right? Like, and it wouldn't even be a question. Like it would definitely be Alphia. Now, the thing is with Chronicle, I mean, he even played a game of Veto. I mean, I'm gonna let Shyo talk about Veto if he wants to, and Chronicle's ability on that agent. But if he is gonna be playing, like if he's playing Veto Chamber, right? This isn't like normal Senti stuff, right? This is the aggressive. Opping. You would think like he might even be opping, you know, especially if he's playing Chamber, right? You would think, which is not really something you associate with Chronicle at all. I can't even have I'm pretty sure I have seen an op in his hands sometimes, but it's very, very rare.
Extremely rare.
Right? Extremely rare. I mean, even Boaster, you would probably is more of an opper than Chronicle. So I do think I'm not concerned because it's Chronicle. Like, and he's going to be good. Like that's the thing about picking up Chronicle is he's going to be good. Like, his floor is good.
Okay, he's going to be good, but you're not looking for Chronicle's floor. You're looking for when you pick up these players, you're looking to get the best out of Durka, the best out of Chronicle, the best out of Sayonara.
Here's a little
Prophet are the players that are more like the glue guys on this team.
Here's a little TMV theory. The Sentinels now are all shit. Don't even bother.
Well, yeah. I mean, don't tell the fans that, though, but we've been saying it for years.
Not Sentinels the team. I'm talking the agents. Just don't even bother. Don't bother to do it. Take the risk. Teams have made it work on pretty much every map, I think, apart from Haven. I think every other map, I have seen no Senti work. I have seen a team play it and it look decent.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I would say, fuck it. Just put him on Viper or whatever else. Go on, here you go, Shyo.
I respect that opinion, and I think it's a correct one, but I also think the opposite is absolutely true, to where, like, if you have someone that wants to slot in, and I feel like, before I get into this, one of the things I wanted to mention with Kron is maybe one of the things that was kind of enticing them to join Vitality was the fact that they were offering him a role like Permanent Sentinel, like something else to improve at that wasn't like playing Viper at a 20-second execute timing, or like playing off your teammates as much as being someone who could be the main focus and like, hey, we need a pillar. Are you interested in doing this in a system that has some of your old teammates and a new IGL? We're going to be experimenting a lot with so many comps where you get to play a static role and you have to be self-sufficient. And he's like, you know what? That sounds lit. Maybe he does like the op a lot in ranked. Maybe he does have this entire repertoire that we haven't seen, because he's been kind of the person uplifting all his teammates, being that, like, he is the gorilla in glue. Like, this guy is the one that, like,
you're saying before he was being a team player and now he's taking his.
Yeah, now he gets to have his time in the limelight. And you're saying that Senti is a useless role inside this meta, especially in pro play. Like, ditch it, be with your... Like, I agree with that. But I also have seen, and I've theorized with things like Veto, things like Cypher on Haven, or like even if you want to play Chamber on Pearl and take over the entire match. We've seen it in previous metas. It's still possible. And if someone like Kron, who wants to put in the time for that and has the team and the system to be able to facilitate that, I think the stars are the moon, the sun is the sky, like whatever. You can do it, man.
No, yeah, I'm totally with you. If you are gonna play a Senti, you might as well play one that can take over the game.
And you might as well be Chronicle. Like, I think if it's anyone else starting up, if you're starting up a team and you don't have a Chronicle on your team, don't try it. Do what TMV is saying. If there's anyone else who's trying to experiment with things, ditch Senti. But if you're trying to adapt Kron into your team and he has a liking for this, I think Sentis are really good at the moment in trying to have a lot of the stoppage for double duelist dive. To have the info needed to be able to do things around the map. Like, if every team's double duel is diving, I feel like Senti is one of the best things possible. If you try to run double controller, you're being hard counted. You're giving these duelists the opportunity to get their dive execute off, to get closer to sites. Kron gets to like, he knows how sites work and where to be to make his teammates play better. He can, like, with the Sentinels that are up for discussion that he's playing right now, Vito, Chamber, you can make your teammates, or you can make your utility Chronicle and make yourself the teammate. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can make Vito's util work for you as Boaster. Like, Chronicle doesn't have to die now. He doesn't have to be the person with the most pressure first in. The characters he's playing are so frag heavy, so impact heavy on what they do. They just control entire sides of the map. I think it's worth it. I think it's definitely worth it.
I think the thing that Vitality have in their back pocket as well, though, is if they do want to go in a solo duelist direction, they could actually put Durka on Chamber. And
yeah, they could
let Kron play, whatever he wants to play. If that does end up becoming a direction they want to go in. So
I mean, I'm looking at these comps and I'm thinking on Abyss, getting Durka playing the Yoru just seems way better to me. Just from the point you were talking about earlier with the op, rather than having him playing the Waylay. But maybe that's something specific about Sayonara that we're unaware of, because Sayonara's played some weird-ass shit. I mean, yeah, the Phoenix, they've played Corrode twice, and he's played Phoenix both times. I don't think there's any VODs of those games, is there? Of the
it says
Corrode?
there's a Valorant EMEA stream.
Oh yeah, it does.
This one.
It does. Hold on. Yeah. No, they played against Nuxeria Esport and won 13-3, and apparently there is a VOD of that. So Sayonara went 19-9 playing Phoenix on Corrode. So I think I gotta go and have a look at what the hell they're doing with that. Other teams, though, that have played recently, in Soup, there are a few really interesting teams to take a look at because it's the first time that we've seen them play. I wanted to ask you a very similar question about roles, just looking at the VLR page, looking at Gen G. Okay, Gen G are already in a weird spot because they lost Munchkin. Lucky is coming in presumably to IGL, although I haven't heard that directly from inside the team. They finally confirmed that Lucky is playing. Zinx is now coming in to kind of replace the role that Foxy9 left. I still don't really understand why they dropped Foxy9 though, because whatever, it's made the roles go all over the place too. Karen is now their Sentinel player instead of Smokes. Ash is their full-time Smokes player. Zinx is coming in to play this like secondary Munchkin Viper role when he's previously been a Sentinel mostly, but you know, that's fine. That's not too far away from what he was doing. Lakia picks back up the Sova, and he was actually putting up a decent fragging performance, and Texture obviously is still on Duelist. But what do you think about Karen moving over to Senti for this team?
This is... I'm going to guess that he's... Again, I think this is seeing Sentinel as almost two separate roles, of saying that Vito and Chamber are on one side of the Senti role, and the other Sentis are on the other side. Because if you look at Zinx's all-time agents, he's got 5 agents. Do you want to go through the all-time agents that he's played?
Sure.
Take a guess.
Well, I saw them previously, and they were like Sentinels, so I think it's like...
Yes, it's
Cypher or something?
Cypher at 51%.
Right.
Then Viper, then Vice, then Killjoy. And then
they're
two
all
games
very
away
like
that he played.
anchor Sentinel.
Yes.
They're not the contact Sentinels, they're the anchor
No,
Sentinels.
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. I think there's going to be a bit of a divide here where anytime that they do play a traditional Sentinel, it's not going to be Karen. And I guess they just think that Zinx... Which is very strange because you would be like, the other role that they want to put him on is Duelist. So you're saying that this guy can't play Chamber but can play Waylay.
That
so does seem a little...
No, because also
strange,
the idea that Karen is playing the contact agents, I think, is not borne out in what they've done in their first BO3, because on Haven he's playing Killjoy, right? So that is where you'd expect Zinx to be picking it up. Abyss, he plays the Vito.
Oh, whoops.
So, okay, Abyss, he plays the Vito. That does kind of fit your theory.
What the fuck is Karen on Killjoy, man?
Karen is playing Viper on Split. And I think Viper on Split makes a lot of sense. But the Haven comp is weird.
Fucking hell.
The Haven comp is
Here's
weird.
what I think. I think they did a bunch of trials. Zinx came in, and he was one of the few people that was able to play full flex. Like, he could, yes, he has a lot of Cypher and official pro play, but, like, he could play the Waylay, he could play Duelist. They've given him the Vekaj in-zone clash treatment, tried out on a bunch of shit, and he could do a bunch of shit. It just seems like, and I think I'm seeing this pattern with Kron on Vito as well, there needs to be someone with this agent that specializes in it. You can't just slot in and play Vito. So if one person on your team is going to learn this agent, they probably, when you're not playing Vito, have to stay on Sentinel as well. If it's Karen on the team who has the most interest in playing this agent, we have to think about, okay, who's coming in the smokes then? Take him off the smokes role entirely. Okay, now we need someone who can double duelist and flex as
rearranging
well.
the deck chairs on the Titanic here.
I know, but you... I feel like if one person wants to play this agent, it's better if they stay on Senti for the maps that don't have it. No, I'm not saying Killjoy, I'm saying Veto specifically.
Oh,
Killjoy is like a good slot in for the person regardless. Like if you're playing Veto on every map and there's a map where it doesn't work, put yourself on Killjoy. You don't need to know anything. You may have to learn like 2 lineups for like a Molly, but like you can still frag and do your thing. My biggest surprise is that they have Karen switching off when like why couldn't Ash learn this role, or why couldn't Zinx just go from the Cypher to having interest in the Veto? But again, you mentioned it, right? Chamber Veto are on completely opposite sides of Cypher. I think it's actually easier for a Cypher player to play Waylay than it is to play Chamber and Veto. I mean, what you have to do with Waylay is just gotta go in and dash die. Like, it doesn't require brains as much as those two agents and your positioning and whatnot. But
I mean, brains is a bit of a weird way of putting it, but I think you do have to be very disciplined in terms of your pathing, and you also have to be extremely fast at analyzing. I mean, maybe that's where it shares a little bit of a skill set with the Cypher, actually, because when you get into that position, you need to very quickly take in all of the info as to whether or not you're supposed to stay or recall, or like the info that you have to relay to the rest of your team. I think it's still like a pretty high level agent in pro play.
Even if you do it poorly, though, you get value. If you play Chamber or Veto poorly, agents were like, it's not just about your utility. Like, your utility is setting you up to shoot. And your utility's bad, you don't get to shoot properly, then you're getting nothing. Like, you are bottom of the barrel. Waylay, at least, like, you're popping a little bit of util away from the enemy team. You're getting, even if you don't use the info, your team has the info. You could be the first primary dive duelist, right? Even Nats's, like, Waylay on Corrode, like, at least enabled the rest of his team, at least enabled, like, Kiko to be able to move in, Camo to be able to do something, even if it was bad pathing, right? Like, but I feel like if you put him on Chamber and he missed every shot, that would be terrible. Like, that would just, that'd be horrid.
I just think we've, and again, looking at this game versus RRQ, like, the problem for me would just be Ash. I mean, Ash had a pretty bad game here on smokes. Like, when you've already got an amazing smokes player. Like, just sometimes just don't overthink things.
Yeah. I suspect actually, okay, but the reason that I think they've put Karen on, my suspicion is, the reason they've put Karen on to Senti is they probably wanted Ash originally to play Sentinel. They tried him on Haven. Do you remember the way that Foxy9 would anchor on Haven on the Killjoy? Where you have to take fights. Like, you have to be up in front, and you have to be fighting them either, like, as they're coming through garage, or, you know, you're trying to play front default a lot. And I don't think Ash has necessarily got the, like, rifling mechanics to be able to take those aggressive fights and win a ton of them. And so they probably decided, right, we need Karen then to be able to do that kind of thing. Because I watched a little bit of that game of his defense side, because he went like 14-9 on defensive Haven.
Or maybe put the guy that you replaced Foxy9 with, who's a Sentinel player, who's also playing Duelist, make him do it.
Yeah.
And if he's bad at it, don't pick him up.
Yeah. It is strange that why did they cut Foxy9 in the first place? Very, very odd. Anyway, sorry, I had another team that I wanted to talk to you about too, which was T1. This is the final team that I wanted to ask you guys questions about, but we finally got to see T1 play, and again, it wasn't the roles that I thought they would be playing with. So a week ago, we were talking about T1 and the changes that they'd made, and we were talking, oh, well, probably this means that Itsu is now going to be playing Perma Smokes, because the most obvious thing to do is that you have Munchkin pick up his normal kind of secondary flex position, Stax plays the primary initiator, and that means that Meteor's playing Sentinel, Itsu's playing Smokes, but that is not what they've done pretty much like at all. The game against Fnatic, they were running all double duelist with Meteor flexing between double Smokes and Senti, but Munchkin is the hardcore Smokes player for the team, like the primary Smokes player. And then when they played against Zeta Division, I think it was even more clear, really, because Meteor played the Viper, and Itsu played Killjoy. So, like, very, very different stuff. Meteor looks like he's a flex Smoke / Senti player now, and Munchkin is just their Perma Smoke, and Itsu's their duelist who then swaps Senti. Very odd setup that doesn't seem like it's going to maximize Munchkin's impact. But I guess maybe you don't need to if he's going to get you good value as a caller.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. You want to maximize Meteor. Like he I think should be the priority. He should be number one on the list of like this guy can win his tournaments. Like, you know, not just win games. This guy can win a tournament. He's that good. So I think he should be priority. Let him do whatever he wants, and that probably is going to be Viper. That's probably something we should have thought about a bit more. That, like, you know, who's going to play Viper between Munchkin and Meteor? Because I think we just assume like, oh, Munchkin always plays Viper, so he's going to play Viper. But
yeah,
Meteor also plays a ton of Viper, and he's amazing at it. So yeah, let him. So I don't hate that, to be honest, because I think that's probably how I would organize the team of like, Meteor, you pick your agent first, and we'll build around the rest of it. And like you say, if Munchkin is struggling fragging on an Astro or an Omen or whatever, that's better than him being okay, but Meteor being worse. I know.
I think that the only like, it's just map pool and like decisions on comps where you might see Meteor like off Viper and on KJ. I feel like it might only happen on Pearl if they're going to run double duelist. But if we just have a smoke Viper comp for every map, this team might just go large. And like, if we have a day where both Itsu and Buzz are popping off, like, we've got Bangkok all over again, right? Like, it's kind of nuts. I feel like if Itsu also is only flexing off of Yoru to play KJ is one of the most flexible agents from any role. Again, one of the easiest ones to pick up. It is boring, but like, as long as you have protocols, that's what matters more. You guys are talking about what to do on Haven for Gen G. Like, if they have that locked down for Itsu on Haven as well, that's chilling. I don't even think on Haven he's playing that specifically though. Like, he's got, on this map he is playing KJ, and they do have Meteor on Viper. So like, again, even on double smokes, if you don't have double duelist, Itsu can flex over. Agree with TMV. If Meteor is the focus and Meteor is playing well, if the system's locked in, and I think Itsu's playing well on the day, this team is going to be a godlike team. Like, I think you're talking about Meteor though. The more I think about this, Itsu needs to be the player that's actually the most consistent on the team. Although it's built around Meteor, if he's playing this like Yoru 24/7, if he's locking on the map with info and playing aggro on Haven as KJ 24/7 as well, like, he's got to be the best player. And if we're just looking at stats right now, both matchups, he's been top frag or second top frag. I'm just looking at the boards.
Itsu is very, very good. Yeah.
Can I also just make a quick point as well about, like, you, Sideshow, were literally in disbelief when I told you that DH was the one who was getting sent down to the depths of the T1 Academy. But if you think about this team with DH in it instead of Stacks, are you then saying that Itsu has to play Perma Recon?
Yeah, that would be the setup for the team if Stacks got kicked.
So
yeah,
Itsu would be on Perma Recon. You would struggle, I guess. What are you playing? Meteor second duelist?
Meteor second duelist and Senti, and you swap between the two would have been the way that I would construct the team. Yeah, okay. I accept that there are pros and cons to that too, right? Like, you probably don't get the same level of value out of Itsu as you would.
That's what I meant. That, like, we were viewing that as like, why the fuck would you ever do that? It doesn't make any sense. But I think when you see these roles, you can actually start to see that there is a bit of a trade-off.
But I think it also puts more pressure on Stacks, this version of it, to be a good performer, because he has to be able to make up for what could be a fragging deficit. Like, he has to actually perform like, you know, a good initiator player. He doesn't get the bail that you would normally shoot to an IGL. So if he can do that, they might.
Yeah, on this patch, he has the room to be able to shoot. There's no excuses of even the initiator role bogging him down. Like, you don't even have util to think about, honestly.
Don't even think about
like, there's no way. The most curious thing about this is that Sentinels, kind of with their roster switch up, has done the complete opposite on, like, focusing on some of their, like, more important players coming in and uplifting them in their roles, to giving the importance of role selection and agent selection to some of the academy players from Qbert that came up. Like, instead of having narrate and focusing on the history that he's had in this last year of playing initiators and relying on that, like how T1's done it with Itsu and Itsu's Yoru play, and just slotting him into something easy like KJ, they now have narrate getting in on the double duelist. Kind of like if you were switching Meteor to play double duelist for the team, instead of just focusing on Meteor's importance of, you know, I want to play Viper, I want to play some of the slower agents. So it's cool to see, you know, around the world, we have some people focusing on some of the OG players they know that can play stronger, and focusing on them, uplifting them. And then clearly what Sentinels is looking at now, after I look at this change, I don't know what I'm thinking about Sen, but they're clearly trying to uplift Caillou.
Talking about Sen.
they're thinking about the future and like who they want to focus on as things happen moving forward. Like, is narrate even here for the next year afterwards? If they're going to go with just, you know, more of the focus on the roster and the roles for the new players. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, there you go. We finished the episode talking about Sentinels.
Hell yeah. We're still on Everything's on Fire, by the way. It's
all right.
Crazy.
It's the big departure.
It's the big
TBD.
Yeah, thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Well, Shyo, take us out.
We had a whole comment section of cool stuff that we were going to talk about in the next episode. Guys, you didn't mention anything cool. That shit was like drippy. It was out of the fridge. It wasn't even in the freezer. It was not cool at all. It was lukewarm even. I need to see good talking points, and then we'll talk about them. Drop those talking points in the comments below. Like the video if you haven't liked it. That subscribe button is not just for show. I know it says subscribe, but have you subscribed to all channels that are mentioned inside that sub button? Have you seen TMV's content? Have you seen Josh's content, Mr. Sideshow here? I've even uploaded videos.
If you watched
now.
his EWC charity streams, you have probably seen his content.
But if you haven't, there's so much to see. And there's so much of this podcast as well that comes out every week. Hit up the sponsors again if you didn't see them, right? Raycon, Mint Mobile.
Support the show, for fuck's sake. I mean, if you're here, like, honestly, if you're here, why are you supporting the show?
Guys,
do
love
more.
You all. Don't listen to TMV. He colonized me twice in history when it comes to nationalities. Pakistan and Canada. It's kind of wild.
I didn't do anything.
Don't colonize people. Watch Valorant. We'll see you next week.